Now I want to turn it over to the audience. Did you have a question that followed from that?
Yeah, I just had a question. Could you define, or could you draw the line about unethical?
Well, my parents beat the Ten Commandments into me at a young age, so I am perhaps actually not a good line over here. I'm afraid in other words, what I would do, I have a bit more Puritan in me than most of the people in this field do. I also try and be a rationalist. So I say if people are able to live with themselves and do things that are clearly not, let me offer a definition for the point of view, not a morality question, but a business question. Whatever you can do that your staff can live with, and that will not bring the legal authorities of your partners on you. And I'm afraid that's a fairly depraved definition, but it's just from the point of view of a business one. Do you want to try this?
Well, let them finish. I was actually going to talk a little bit about your point before about what gamers need to do to make more money, but if you want to talk about the ethical question first.
I want to take questions from the audience, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to answer the ethical question.
Okay.
That's really hard.
Okay, do people want to hear Patrick tell you how to make more money? Excellent, we see the nodding heads.
Let me tell you from the perspective of where people aren't. So where developers need to be, I think, are people like going to China and Korea. Right now, there's a dearth of developers who understand the American way of playing games. And American way of playing games is fun. And so I think rather than competing and beating your heads against the wall here in the US, you might want to go try Cyworld. Cyworld opened up an open social platform. It's really like what Facebook is doing, and there just aren't that many developers there. You could probably make a lot of money. There's a lot of money sitting there. The virtual currency is already tied in. You might want to try something like that, or go to Tencent, or go to Japan. So I actually think if the goal is making a cool game but being famous in America, sure. But if you want to actually make money, I think you should go where developers aren't and bring to that market a really fun experience. Money will follow.
All right, your morality made you uncomfortable. How about money?
Yeah.
Or should I stay off words that start with M? I'm sorry, Dan. I'm giving you. I'm not being gracious. Slap on my wrist. Do you want to follow Patrick's point?
No.
Okay, Lee.
No, I think it's a great point, actually.
Okay.
I mean,
Go to the audience.
I can jump on it.
Please raise your hand, and a question. Please try and get your question in two sentences if you can. You, sir.
Well, thanks for the discussion. It's a fascinating topic. One thing that strikes me as odd is that, I'm not an economist, but I kind of look at it as a hobby, and my understanding is it's social sciences. And as such, I wouldn't really expect that it would be much different in the real economy world compared to the virtual economy world as far as the principles and basics.
Okay, and can you ask a question, please?
Yeah. What I want to ask is that it seems like we should be, standing on the shoulders of these giants of economics who have been researching this for hundreds of years and integrating some of their knowledge into the way we approach this new type of economy or this new platform for an economy.
And the question is?
Can we have a Stanford economist on the panel next year?
Actually, many of the large companies, I believe that the Icelandic company was the first to put a chief economist on its staff. Is that correct to your knowledge, Andy?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, yes.
Yeah, really speaking later.
So we are definitely seeing economists come into this field. The other thing, it's also worked the other way. One of the things that the magazine, The Economist, pointed out is that when eBay worked, it was something that economists had not seen in a lifetime, which is a theorem proved by actual use. The internet actually made it work. And it is a great time to be an economist. Actually, I'm sorry, I will let the economists in the audience confirm or deny that statement. Yes. So the economists have something to teach us, and they're excited to work with you. Anyone on the panel want to discuss how you use an economist? You have a ready and willing one over here.
I was just going to say, actually, your point is interesting in that there's, in our virtual economy, all the same principles apply. For example, we have a central authority, IMVU, that issues credits, but we also have a secondary market where users can buy credits from third parties that accumulate lots of credits because they offer creators, the ones who are building the goods and earn credits, they offer creators a way to cash out and earn real money. And we've noticed, for example, when the level of credits in the economy gets to a point where those resellers don't actually want to sell at a price that actually allows them to maintain a margin over what they're going to pay out to creators. And so all these same principles, fly in there, and it's definitely something you always have to keep in mind. And the sinks and the faucets that Patrick referred to is something that we watch very carefully.
Okay. Back there, last question.
I was just wondering if you could make any generalities about types of goods which are most popular or most successful and
Okay. Types of goods that are most popular, are most popular. Do you want to do it by most used by users or most revenues?
most revenue.
Okay. Types of goods that generate the most revenues.
Do you have any? I'd love to hear some Cyworld info on that, actually. I have my answer, but I'll.
Well, I mean, frankly, I wouldn't say there's any particular one thing. I mean, it's really just allowing people to express themselves. I mean, whatever that may be. I mean, I know it's a very general answer, but that changes day to day. I mean, we do things, for example, we do brand advertising through virtual goods. And if Coca-Cola wants to have a special item, we'll make that for them. Mm-hmm. And we'll put that as part of a campaign, and we'll make a lot of money doing that. But that doesn't last forever. That's just a 1 month type promotion.
But personalization, you're right. Clothes, settings are generally things that do monetize better. Mm-hmm. Lee, just because we're running out of time.
Yeah, we have, it's a very long tail in our case because of the generative economy. The top 20 products, if you looked at them in a given month, only represent 0.2% of all of the credits that are spent in the catalog. And so it does tend to be very, very long. But the branded virtual good case is interesting because those are moments where you do see more people going after the same good. But even in some cases, we had some branded goods that were made, and then they tend to sell even less than something that a user-generated good brought in, precisely because it was actually more interesting or better than what the branded, kind of sanitized, really corporate-looking good was. So.
Okay. With that, we are out of time. Thank you, Patrick, Lee, and Daniel. And thank you all for coming. We have another session coming right up. So if you have questions of the panelists, they're going to be standing outside the door, and please go outside rather than interrupt the next panel.